YouTube, what's going on, guys? Mike here, back with another video. Today, well, I haven't really put a video up in a while. I think it's been about a month, and there's a reason for that, and that's because I've been busy with all of this. I've been splitting firewood like crazy, by hand at first, and then I actually purchased this guy right here, which is a log splitter. This particular model is the Bilt log splitter, 27 ton. It has a Honda GCV 160 overhead cam engine, which is apparently a really good engine. Now, these are engines that are found on your imagination is the limit to this engine. You can put these things on go-karts, power washers, anything. Really anything that could use an engine, this thing is really good for. Now, I'm not an engine expert. I really don't know much about them, but what I do know is that this is a pretty robust one. And if anyone was curious, this is a brute force 750 Kawasaki V-twin fuel injected 4x4. So this is my baby, but that's not what this video is about. This is what the video is about here. So back to the splitter. Just walking you guys around. What's really nice feature that already came with it is the guards over the tires. Some of them online don't have that, and that's a nice added safety feature, and you'll see why once I get to splitting. It has a pretty sharp cast, I guess that's the head or the splitting component, and then what it does is the hydraulic pushes out, pushes all the way, and then pushes the log, jams the log into this, splits it. So you guys will see that in action. It just has this pretty simple lever. You just push it forward to go forward, backward to go backward, and then once it reaches its final destination, it automatically snaps to the neutral position. And then I'll go into some mod that I want to add to help speed that up. I believe it's a 13 or a 16 second cycle, which means it takes about 6 seconds or 6.5 seconds for it to reach the back, and then another 6.5 seconds for it to reset into its final position where you see it right now. That's a little lengthy, especially when you see how repetitive this is. If I could shorten that to about half, which I certainly can, because the 20-inch log comes to like right about here, so all this is like wasted movement, and you'll see that once I get to splitting. I guess lastly is it's the hydraulic fluid is stored in this bottom like framing right here. That's where this little port goes. You can fill your hydraulic fluid from here. From what I hear is it lasts a pretty long time. You don't really have to change it too often unless there's a leak of some sort. This is the hydraulic line. There's looks like a hydraulic filter there. The line has this metal casing, protective, you know, slinky looking thing. So that's cool, I guess, for sharp puncturing pieces of logs that might puncture that. So that's a nice little feature. Hydraulic line comes back to here. And that's really, you know, that's the whole thing. It's not like a very technical piece of equipment, but very strong, 27 tons, and it can really get through some gnarly stuff. So I guess that's that. I think it's a 2-inch. These are adjustable, but this one's for a 2-inch ball, and then it has a leg if you're not using it on something with a hitch. It has a leg, a retractable leg that just comes down. I have it pinned up right now. With this particular model, and most of them do this, but you could pull this lever here, which we'll be doing today, and this will actually send the log splitter upright, which is a nice feature too, because this way what we're going to be doing today is, as you can see, these logs here are pretty big, too big for me to lift and drop onto this splitter. The smaller ones, yes, but the larger ones, not so much. So we'll use that standing up. I'll show you guys how we do that. All right, so now that we've walked around the splitter, you guys see the equipment that I'm using. I recommend it. I actually found it used on Facebook Marketplace. I was gonna say Craigslist, but I don't use Craigslist too much anymore these days. I did love it when it was popular, but Facebook Marketplace just completely took over. And it's really good. Some people are passerbyers or fly-by-night type of characters, but there's other people like the guy I picked this splitter up from, who was an awesome guy. fair price. I picked this one up for $1,000. Online they go for anywhere from $700 as a real used dinghy one to $1,500, which is like really nice, top of the line. You can get them new, a 27 ton at Tractor Supply for the $1,300 to $1,400 range. So, and that is 2022. You know, prices are subject to go up or down. Nobody knows these days anymore. So anyway, that's what I got it for, $1,000 used on Facebook Marketplace. Pretty robust piece of equipment. I'm gonna back it up into position. I'm gonna show you how to operate it, basically standing up by lifting the logs on it in the upright position, and then I'm gonna send it vertical, and then I'll show you how to move some real heavy logs and split them that way. So let me get it into position and we'll jump right into this thing. All right, so as you can see, it has no problem with that smaller stuff. It's relatively dry wood, and it, you know, it's pretty straight grain, goes right through. But now I want to show you how it handles something a little more gnarly. Like this is a piece here. When I say gnarly, I mean it has a lot of knots. It has branches coming out of it. There's pieces coming here. There's pieces coming there. This would be a piece that, I mean, it's not too much of a challenging piece, but it's the best that I have to show you guys how it handles some knots. So. All right, guys, so as you can see, this thing does, it's a pretty good little splitter. Definitely not commercial use, but I mean, as you can see, it does pretty well. It made a nice little pile in the short time that I've been doing this, maybe 20 minutes or so. I burned through all the small logs. I left one semi-small, one that I could probably split, lift and split on the splitter, but I want to do that one vertically. I guess I could take this time just to go over what modifications I want to do to this thing. So starting with number one, as you guys probably saw, when I'm splitting, the halves roll away. Now this is like the rack that it came with. These two holes that you see, I think that there's an extension that's supposed to come with this thing. I don't know if the previous owner had it, threw it away, didn't know how to install it, maybe never got the parts, but whatever happened, there's supposed to be a rack that comes on this side and on that side to catch the halves as they roll away. So the biggest problem that I have is as I'm splitting it, one hand's on the throttle right here, and the other hand can catch one side, but usually the other side will roll away. I'll try to catch the further side, and then I'll let this one roll toward me, because then I don't have to walk around, pick that half up, put it back down, walk back to this side, and then hit the throttle on it. So it's just kind of cumbersome, kind of a pain in the butt. Not the biggest deal, as you can see. It works for sure. So that's the first mod I want to do, is either build something, maybe learn how to weld. I never welded before, but this would be a nice welding project, I think. I'd have to check out some of Andrew Karamata's videos. He does a lot of welding. Great channel over there. But yeah, so that's the first mod I want to do. The second mod would probably be to add some kind of a cycle reducer, because the other thing is, when you see, I kind of put it in automatic back mode here, and it'll send the splitting head all the way home back into the position you see it in, which I really need it to stop like right here. So I catch it, so like sometimes when I'm moving logs, I'll catch the thing and I'll be able to push it forward and stop it right here. Then I'll go to my log pile, I'll come back, I'll load my log, and then continue starting from the midway, which is a lot faster. It's a quicker 1, 2, 3. What I've seen online is guys will put like a rod, and the rod will be attached to like the top of this head, and it'll just come out, and then they'll put an extension on this piece to send this handle forward, so that as this head comes back, once the rod that's welded to this coming out comes back and hits this piece, which is forward, it kind of stops the head from wherever you have that set point. So you can move that set point forward or backward, or depending. Usually people use like a telescoping little like rod. So I've seen that on YouTube. It's probably doing a terrible job explaining, but basically it cuts the cycle time in half, so it automatically stops it. It hits this throttle, pushing it to the neutral position and stopping the splitting head in the middle, versus going all the way back while I'm over here finding a log to throw on, to the next log to throw on. So I don't know if any of that made sense. Give me a comment down below if you understand, or if you're saying, Mike, you're rambling on and you're crazy and I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's it. Those are the two mods that I definitely want to do to this thing. I've seen people get crazy and do all types of stuff where they add a T onto their hydraulic line, and then they add a hydraulic like lift, so that it lifts big heavy logs like this up instead of going into the upright position. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff online, but for all intents and purposes, I just need those two mods, and really I don't need them at all, because as you can see, the thing works just fine without both. It would just be a more efficient time saver type deal. So that's it. Let me go ahead and put this this splitter into the upright position, and then I'll show you how we handle big rounds that are just too heavy for me to lift. And guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. All right guys, so now what I'm gonna do is demonstrate how to operate the splitter in the upright position. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy construction. I'll show you what to do to get it upright. Very simply, you just pull this lever and then lift the whole unit upright. And that's it. It doesn't really lock into place or anything. I guess that could be the lock mechanism to keep it upright, but I think it's just sheer weight, to be honest. It's a pretty heavy unit. And then that's it. Now we could roll these heavy logs right under the splitting portion there, or the wedge portion, and then let the splitter go through it. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out. Let's get these big rounds going. All right, guys, as you can see, the upright position is a little bit more cumbersome. Maybe it was because of the size of the rounds that I was trying to cut, but man, I like the horizontal much better than the vertical. I think that the horizontal is just easier on your back. You're standing upright. Yeah, you have to lift the logs into place, but if you get some normal size rounds, you know, 12, 15-inch rounds, no problem at all lifting them up. The vertical, I could see it could be nice if you had a milk crate set up, or I sat on a log midway through. That made it easier. This way you can just move it, but you're constantly bending over, moving things, rolling. It's just not my favorite. I definitely prefer it the other way around. But to each his own. That's why they have both settings, so that you can figure out what's best for you. I have a big pile of wood to stack now. I stacked the other pile we did. Let's hit this one. We'll wrap this video up. This is really all I wanted to show you guys. I mean, the last thing I could show you is how to get it back into the, you know, the vertical position. And I think that's just as easy as just plopping her right down, just like that. Getting her in position. She snapped right into place perfectly, and that's it. So that's the end of this video, guys. I really appreciate if you hit that like button. That helps YouTube's, you know, internal craziness move my videos ahead. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it to this far of the video, you get a thumbs up and you get to watch me stack all this wood. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.